All right, so grab a drink because this one's going to make your jaw drop and maybe your faith in humanity too. You know how we keep saying the MAGA movement is full of cracks and contradictions? Well, it turns out one of those fissures might just lead straight to Jeffrey Epstein's old address book. Because journalist Michael Wolff, the same guy who's been chronicling Dumpy Pants Circus since the very beginning, just dropped what might be the most disturbing revelation yet. According to Wolff, Epstein himself told him that he and Dumpy Pants ran something called the Pussy Committee. Not kidding. That was their name. Their goal? To get young girls for Prince Andrews. Not fundraisers, not politics, girls. And if you're thinking, wait, that possibly can't be true, I'll just remind you, this is the same guy who bragged on tape about grabbing women by the genitals, who changed Miss Teen USA dressing room rules, and who somehow surrounded himself for decades with billionaires, models, and predators, always on the edge of scandal, but not quite held accountable. So does it sound far-fetched, or does it sound exactly like him? Now let's talk about why this story is gaining traction. Michael Wolff isn't new to this world. He's been covering Dumpy Pants since the campaign days. He's written multiple bestsellers based on first-hand interviews. And Epstein, before his suicide, gave Wolff over 15 hours of conversations. 15 hours. That's not a passing chat. That's a confession booth. And in those interviews, Epstein detailed a strange dynamic, one where Dumpy Pants and Epstein saw themselves as power brokers with access to the world's elite. And when Prince Andrew wanted something, they delivered. Now, if this is true, and Wolff insisted, it explains a lot. It explains why Dumpy Pants never says a bad word about Epstein, never condemned Ghislaine Maxwell. In fact, he wished her well. It also explains why he's terrified of this story getting oxygen, because every time Epstein comes up, he goes completely silent. No posts, no live social, no denials, just crickets. And you and I both know silence isn't strength, it's fear. Now, enter Melania, because apparently she has sued Michael Wolff over the claims on how she met Donald Trump. And Wolff being Wolff. So this could actually end up in court, which would be delicious. Because discovery means documents, emails, flight logs, depositions, the kind of evidence Dumpy Pants has spent his entire life avoiding. And for the record, if this were completely false, if it were a total fabrication, he'd be on social typing in all caps right now. But nope, not a word. Just his lawyers quietly circling the wagons while his followers pray this blows over. It won't. And this is where I want to zoom out, because this scandal doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a larger pattern. The same MAGA movement that claims to be protecting the children is defending a man who allegedly helped traffic them. The same movement that preaches purity and morality is led by a guy who bragged about sexual assault and cozied up to a literal pedophile. And the so-called Christian nationalists who chant, Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president, they built a golden idol out of a man who, if Michael Wolff is right, was part of a committee devoted to grooming girls for royalty. You can't make this up. If there's any integrity left in that moment, this should be the moment they walk away. But let's be honest, they won't. They'll find a way to rationalize it, spin it, or blame George Soros, because the cult always protects the leader. But the truth is, the story matters, not because it's salacious, but because it reveals just how compromised Dumpy Pants might be. He's terrified of what Epstein knew. He's terrified of what Ghislaine Maxwell still knows. And he's terrified that if one domino falls, the whole MAGA empire goes with it. That's why the silence. That's why the chaos. That's why the endless distractions, from government shutdowns to made-up wars with the deep state. Keep people distracted, keep the press busy, and maybe nobody will notice that the guy who calls everyone else a pervert was allegedly running errands for Epstein. So when the dam finally breaks, and it won't just expose Dumpy Pants. It'll expose everyone who helped cover for him, excuse him, and elevate him. Because this isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. And the fact that MAGA world has stayed completely silent tells you everything you need to know. They're not defending a movement anymore. They're defending a man knee-deep in corruption, compromise, and now maybe something much darker. So buckle up, because when this story hits the mainstream, it's not just another headline. It's the crack in the dam.